I initially had two Ultramarine figures in my collection, these two, and I ended up with another two more by ordering at Amazon.com. So it was offered for $11. So I have a future project of doing this kind of modification to all three. So I have a Ultramarine unit. So let's take a look at the changes that these two action figures have undergone. So this is how the basic action figure looks when you take it out of packaging. So let's do a quick 360 of the base action figure without any form of modification. Okay, so building a unit of 4 rivers is just easy. Of course, one, you have to buy 4. 2, you have to configure each figure separately, giving them character. So that's the reason why Frank Castle would look this way, and this other guy is going to look this way, and the other two figures which I purchased recently before December 31st, they're going to have a different look to them. But especially the team lead has to have the most flashy armor. Okay, so let's take a look at Frank Castle. So this figure I already featured in another video, showing how I modified the head unit or the head sculpt of a Ultramarine figure into a helmet. So that head, of course, Marvel Legends Punisher action figure. Now that is a helmet, and with how that helmet is mounted onto the armor, I'm going to show off later. But first is what happened to the grenades that was positioned to the front of the armor. Now I reglue them on this section of the back, because we just have 2 pouches here with 1 black grenade. So to balance out the weight or the aesthetic on the back of the action figure, I added these 2 grenades, which previously was here up front. Now the other thing that I wanted with my Frank Castle figure or Frank Castle Ultramarine figure was a battle knife. So actually that is a working knife. So you could take it on, take it off, and you could swap between a chain sword. Well, that is not a Warhammer 40k chain sword. That belongs to a Mcfarlane DC Multiverse Wonder Woman figure. So, working knife, which some Ultramarines have, or some other factions of angels would have a knife mounted on their armor. Okay, so the second thing that I want to show is with regards to the weapon system. This rifle, especially those 2 handsets, they're just a pain in the butt to really have a proper firing position. So it's going to take you a lot of patience to really have the action figure hold on to the pistol grip and the fore end. So instead of dealing with a 2-handed firing position, I just made this into a 1-handed firing position. So converting a carbine into a pistol. So how did I do that? Just by adding elastic cordage to the pistol. So first we have to drill a hole on the back end of the carbine, and of course tie it up the way that you would tie your or mount your rifle sling to your AR-15 or your AK-47. So this is instead of having a 2 position, it's just going to be 1 position sling. So that is for a reason, because Once mounted, one, it's retention. So the figure won't lose the rifle. And two, it's going to hold the firing position well because of the support of the elastic cordage. So having pistol shooting positions like this, so that elastic cordage turns or becomes a brace. So you could position your action figure the way that you want it instead of struggling with a carbine firing position stance. So now you have Frank Castle holding on to two weapon systems. Okay, so that is also the same thing that I did to the helmet. So I just drilled a very small hole on the base at the back end of the helmet and tied once again elastic cordage. And you could just mount that helmet to the front of the armor that way. So you could have the Frank Castle head sculpt always exposed. And if you wish to mount that helmet to that head, it is still possible. So we're going to do that. There you go. So you have a fully armored Frank Castle UltraMarine figure. Okay, so let's go to the other figure because I wanted a planar action figure. So how does the UltraMarine River look like without any of the print on the action figure? Just plain blue with that skull head. And of course, I used a Gundam marker to mark out those sections on the mouth, giving the helmet or the head unit more character. Okay, so I once again utilized the same thing with the weapon system for this figure. So drilling a hole on the base of on the back end of the carbine, mounting a sling system which is connected to the ball of the right arm. So that's a very stable and position for a pistol. Plus, he's not going to lose his weapon. Okay, so let's take a look at this figure. So just a quick 360 of this planar figure. So no prints, and of course we configured this section, taking off those two flaps. Okay, so more traditional looking when you take a look at the Warhammer video games. This section won't have those flaps anyway. Okay, so plain Jane. So of course this would have the number 3 printed on the shoulder armor, so just a little bit of nail polish remover to take off that print. So this is how the action figure is going to look. So the next project that I'm going to do with this action figure is going to convert that head sculpt into a helmet. The same thing that I was able to do with my Frank Castle figure, wherein if you want an exposed head, you could do so. So it's going to be a UltraMarine unit. So we have the third figure out of the box, and the fourth figure still in the box. So we're going to have a UltraMarine unit with head units. So I'm going to convert all of those three head sculpts into a helmet system, and I'm going to mount individual heads on these three action figures. So this is going to be finally my team lead or unit lead, Frank Castle, and is going to be joined later by three other characters. So I'm going to choose head sculpts from Marvel Legends, the characters that I wish to convert into Ultramarines. So if you like this review, like, comment, and subscribe to help me grow my channel. And see you on the next action figure or custom action figure review.